When Camilla was crowned queen, the moment was far from universally celebrated. Her long and complicated history with the royal family meant the crown came wrapped in whispers of doubt and backlash. And just when it seemed the storm was settling, fresh rumors began to swirl, claims of strange behavior and a shocking discovery that would send tremors through the monarchy. Reports suggest that several missing royal heirlooms, believed to be locked safely in the royal vault, were instead uncovered inside Camilla's private estate in Wiltshire. The world is now asking, what exactly was found behind those walls? Shocking discoveries inside Queen Camilla's estate. Ray Mill House in Wiltshire has always been seen as more than just bricks and mortar. For Queen Camilla, it represented freedom, independence, and privacy at a time when her life was under constant watch. Purchased in 1996, right after her divorce from Andrew Parker Bowles, the house became her retreat, away from the glare of the royal spotlight. While most royal residences are steeped in centuries of protocol and history, Ray Mill had no such strings attached. It was hers alone, a place where she could host family dinners, see close friends, and live as Camilla rather than the Duchess or the Queen. The estate soon became tied to pivotal family moments. In 2006, it hosted the wedding reception of her daughter Laura Lopes. Years later, when Camilla marked her 78th birthday, the portrait released by the palace wasn't taken at Windsor or Clarence House. It was captured at Ray Mill, signaling how deeply personal the property remained. Even King Charles respected the estate as Camilla's domain. While he spent much of his time at Highgrove, only a short drive away, Ray Mill was the place Camilla would retreat when she needed space from the formality of court life. But the estate's very privacy has also fueled rumors. Because it is closed off to the press and rarely open to the public eye, whispers began spreading online about what Camilla might be keeping there. Stories of hidden royal treasures or missing heirlooms supposedly discovered at Ray Mill have circulated, particularly on social media and YouTube. These narratives usually weave fact, the estate's significance, into fiction, suggesting confrontations or shocking finds behind its closed doors. While there is no credible evidence of stolen items being kept at Ray Mill, the estate's symbolic role as Camilla's private escape makes it fertile ground for speculation. And this is the key. People project their suspicions onto Ray Mill because it embodies the side of Camilla that the public cannot see. It is the one place where royal protocol cannot dictate how she moves, what she wears, or who she meets. For critics, that privacy looks suspicious. For supporters, it's simply human. Everyone deserves a sanctuary. What makes the estate fascinating is not proof of scandal, but the way it keeps fueling narratives that refuse to die down. Yet, while Ray Mill House itself holds no proven scandal, the rumor mill has turned it into a stage. And the most infamous storyline tied to it is the alleged discovery of missing royal items. The vault items. Claim, rumor versus reality. The story begins like something out of a modern mystery drama. A servant supposedly stumbles upon a priceless royal heirloom at Ray Mill House, sparking confrontation, accusations, and even threats. That's the tale circulating across countless online videos and posts. According to these viral clips, what was found were items long believed to be missing from the royal vault. Treasures that allegedly belonged to Queen Elizabeth II herself. The climax: Princess Anne storming into Camilla's estate, accusing her of theft, and declaring that no matter what crown Camilla wore, she would never be seen as a true queen. On the surface, it sounds explosive, too explosive in fact, to have escaped the attention of Britain's press corps. And that's the first red flag. Not a single credible outlet has reported the recovery of missing royal heirlooms at Ray Mill. No BBC exclusives. No royal correspondence confirming the story. Instead, the tale originates from viral YouTube videos and AI-generated narrations designed to shock and entertain. Clips frame these claims as breaking revelations, but fact-checking groups have debunked them as fabrications, pointing out recycled imagery and even synthetic audio meant to mimic members of the royal family. So why do such stories gain traction? It's partly because they blend just enough reality to feel convincing. Camilla does own Ray Mill House. Princess Anne has had a frosty relationship with her for decades. And missing royal heirlooms are a real enough theme in history to give the rumor a sense of plausibility. When these threads are stitched together into a neat, dramatic narrative, it becomes click-worthy, even if it's false. The psychology here is important. Viewers often remember the drama but forget the disclaimer. Even when a video says "rumors suggest," audiences walk away repeating the claim as fact. That's why these stories spread so rapidly on social media. In a world where speed matters more than accuracy, the vault item's tale has become a modern myth that refuses to disappear. And while the story may be exaggerated, the tension it draws upon is very real. Tension that began long before Camilla became queen. In her complicated history with Princess Anne and Andrew Parker Bowles, a complicated triangle. To understand the frost between Princess Anne and Queen Camilla, you have to rewind to the early 1970s, before Camilla ever married Andrew Parker Bowles. He and Princess Anne were romantically linked. Their relationship was serious, but faced one insurmountable obstacle. Andrew was Catholic, and under the royal family's rules at the time, marriage between a Catholic and a royal heir was considered unacceptable. This religious barrier meant their romance had no future, even if the affection was genuine. When Andrew married Camilla in 1973, whispers suggested that Anne remained close to him, even after the wedding. Though there's no hard proof of an ongoing affair, the proximity and timing kept gossip alive for decades. For Anne, it may have been awkward to watch a man she once loved stand beside another woman, a woman who would eventually become her sister-in-law. For Camilla, it meant stepping into a marriage, shadowed by the knowledge that her husband's past lover was still very much part of his social circle. This complex web only deepened the tension between Anne and Camilla over the years. Their relationship has often been described as distant at best, openly strained at worst. And whether or not the vault items confrontation ever happened, the rumor strikes a nerve precisely because it aligns with the long-standing perception of their rivalry. People believe it because they want to believe Anne would confront Camilla, that she would be the one royal bold enough to say what others won't. At the heart of this triangle lies a truth. Unresolved personal histories have a way of coloring public narratives. Anne's past with Andrew, Camilla's marriage to him, and her later rise as Charles's partner have created layers of tension that tabloids and rumor mills have happily amplified. Even today, when both women are in their 70s, the echoes of that old love triangle still ripple into how the public interprets their every glance, their every silence, and their supposed confrontations. But this was only the beginning. When Charles, Diana, and Camilla became entangled in one of the most infamous royal scandals of the century, the tension between Anne and Camilla would become just one thread in a much larger storm. Charles, Diana, and Camilla, scandals that still echo. No royal love story has been dissected, criticized, and mythologized quite like the triangle between Prince Charles, Princess Diana, and Camilla Parker Bowles. What began as a youthful romance between Charles and Camilla in the early 1970s never truly disappeared, even after both entered marriages with other people. When Charles married Lady Diana Spencer in 1981, millions around the world believed they were witnessing a fairy tale union. But beneath the dazzling ceremony and global adoration, the ghost of Camilla lingered. The cracks surfaced quickly. Diana, adored by the public, soon overshadowed Charles, whose role as heir came with duty, but not necessarily affection from the masses. Behind palace walls, Diana sensed what the world would later learn. Charles had never fully let go of Camilla. Small details betrayed the truth. Days before the wedding, Diana stumbled across a bracelet Charles had commissioned for Camilla, engraved with their private nicknames. The discovery nearly stopped the ceremony, but ultimately became a wound she carried into the marriage. By the early 1990s, Diana's frustrations spilled into the public domain. With the help of trusted friends, she collaborated, secretly, on Andrew Morton's Diana, Her True Story. Released in 1992, the book exposed the pain of her marriage and her awareness of Camilla's role in it. The revelations shocked the world and painted Diana as a trapped, betrayed figure. Around the same time, the infamous Camillagate tapes emerged. Recorded in 1989 but leaked in 1993, the private phone call between Charles and Camilla was embarrassingly intimate, leaving the monarchy reeling. The heir to the throne, caught joking about wishing to live inside Camilla's trousers as a tampon, became the subject of ridicule across the globe. While Diana's candor won her sympathy, Charles and Camilla's reputations suffered. Public opinion hardened, framing Camilla as the villain who had broken Diana's heart. And yet, despite the backlash, the relationship between Charles and Camilla only deepened. They refused to part ways, openly appearing together more frequently, as Diana and Charles formally separated in 1992 and divorced in 1996. For many, these years cemented a narrative: Camilla as the other woman and Diana as the wronged princess. Even decades later, when Camilla finally took her place beside Charles as queen, that image of betrayal still lingered in the public imagination. But history is nothing if not unpredictable. When titles shifted after Queen Elizabeth II's passing, Camilla's role wasn't just recognized, it was elevated in a way that shocked even her fiercest critics. From queen consort to queen, what changed and what didn't? When Queen Elizabeth II passed in September 2022, Charles ascended the throne and Camilla officially became queen consort. For many, it was already a remarkable turn of events. The woman once vilified as a marriage breaker now held the title of queen consort beside her husband. But the story didn't end there. In royal tradition, consorts are styled according to custom rather than constitutional law. Historically, queens consort are simply called queen in everyday usage, though the consort distinction is understood. Still, many believed Camilla's title would remain queen consort, respecting Elizabeth II's earlier statement that Camilla should be known by that specific styling. Instead, during Charles's coronation in May 2023, Camilla was referred to not as queen consort, but as Queen Camilla. The adjustment may sound like a technicality, but to royal watchers, it was a bombshell. For Princess Anne, who had already been wary of Camilla's elevation, it was seen as a betrayal of her mother's wishes. Anne, ever protective of Elizabeth's legacy, reportedly voiced her discontent in private. To her, the change wasn't about semantics, it was about respect. Critics were quick to argue that Camilla's upgrade to queen without the consort tag represented overreach. They saw it as Camilla achieving a role the late queen only cautiously allowed. Supporters countered that it was nothing unusual. Philip, after all, was never called King Philip because the husband of a queen regnant doesn't automatically receive the kingly title. In reverse, the wife of a king has always traditionally been styled queen. Semantics aside, the symbolism was powerful. For Camilla, being known simply as queen marked a complete transformation from scandal-ridden mistress to fully recognized royal consort. For detractors, however, it confirmed their suspicion that Camilla had always been climbing step by step toward the crown itself. And yet, no matter what her title, reputation cannot be rewritten overnight. Camilla has spent the years since her marriage to Charles trying to reshape her public image. But has it worked? Image repair and present role. After decades of scandal, Camilla knew she could not win hearts overnight. She pursued a slow, deliberate strategy, aligning herself with causes the public could admire, softening her image, and showing dedication to duty without trying to replace the irreplaceable Princess Diana. She avoided being seen as a stepmother figure to William and Harry, focusing instead on charitable work. Causes like literacy, domestic violence awareness, and children's welfare became her cornerstones. Her careful effort began to pay off. Media coverage shifted. Instead of highlighting her as the other woman, headlines increasingly emphasized her role as a supportive partner and working royal. Over time, even Queen Elizabeth came to respect her steadiness. In 2022, during her Platinum Jubilee, Elizabeth formally expressed her wish that Camilla be styled Queen Consort once. Charles became king, a sign of trust, earned through years of quiet consistency. Camilla has also leaned into the personal symbolism of Ray Milhouse. Her 78th birthday portrait was released from its gardens, painting her as grounded, approachable, and at home in her private sanctuary. Appearances at public events, combined with an effort to show warmth, have reinforced this narrative of a queen who, despite controversy, has endured. Still, skepticism lingers. Prince Harry himself, in interviews and memoir, alleged that Camilla sometimes traded private stories to the press to polish her reputation. Critics see her rebranding not as organic, but as calculated. For supporters, though, Camilla embodies resilience, an unpopular figure who transformed through persistence and service. Ultimately, her present role is undeniable. As Queen Camilla, she now stands at the center of Britain's monarchy, not as a shadow behind Charles, but as his official partner in ceremony and duty. Whether loved or resented, she has achieved what once seemed impossible: acceptance at the highest level of the crown. Yet the ghost of speculation remains. For all the work Camilla has done to restore her image, whispers about hidden heirlooms and strained confrontations prove that, in the eyes of many, her past will always shadow her present. Sorting fact from fiction. The viral stories about missing royal vault items discovered inside Camilla's Ray Mill estate are gripping, but when you examine the evidence, the foundation crumbles. No mainstream outlet, neither the BBC nor the Times, nor any royal correspondent, has ever confirmed such a discovery. Fact-checking groups have gone further, pointing out that much of the chatter comes from AI-generated clips or low-credibility YouTube channels that thrive on shock value. Audio said to feature Princess Anne confronting Camilla has even been proven to be fabricated by synthetic voice tools. So, what's really going on here? It's not that people are gullible. It's that the rumors tie into existing storylines that feel believable. The public already knows Anne and Camilla have had a tense history. They know Ray Mill House is Camilla's private retreat, far away from palace oversight. Add in the long-standing fascination with royal heirlooms, and suddenly you have a perfect recipe for a story people want to believe, whether it's verified or not. This blending of fact and fiction is what keeps the myth alive. The estate is real, the family tensions are real, and the monarchy has been no stranger to scandal. But the supposed confrontation over missing treasures? That part exists only in the realm of speculation and online storytelling. And yet, the more these stories circulate, the harder it becomes to separate narrative from truth. And that's where the real question lies. Not just what happened at Ray Mill, but why these kinds of stories hold such power. Why the story sticks. At the heart of the fascination is something deeper than jewels or titles. The Camilla story has always been about perception. She entered public life cast as the villain in a royal love triangle. Even decades later, the shadow of Diana's heartbreak lingers. That history primes audiences to view Camilla through a lens of suspicion, no matter what her current title or role may be. When rumors surface about secret heirlooms or hidden scandals, they feel like a continuation of that earlier script. People project the past onto the present. If Camilla once took Diana's husband, then why wouldn't she also take royal treasures? Whether or not the logic holds, the emotional narrative makes it click. Add the secrecy of a private estate, and the whispers of a sister-in-law's resentment. And suddenly the rumor doesn't just spread, it thrives. But the persistence of these stories also reflects something broader. The monarchy itself is a mystery box. Behind gilded walls and official ceremonies, there are always gaps in what the public can see. Those gaps invite imagination, speculation, and suspicion. In Camilla's case, the gaps align perfectly with her reputation, turning her into the subject of endless modern myths. Which leaves us here, at the edge of fact and fiction, wondering not just about Camilla's legacy, but about the power of the stories we tell. A queen in shadow and spotlight. So what do we truly know? Ray Mill House is Camilla's private sanctuary, a place tied to her family and her personal history. Rumors of stolen heirlooms and dramatic confrontations remain just that, rumors with no credible evidence to support them. What we do know is that Camilla has walked a long, complicated road from scandal and backlash to the crown itself. But here's the paradox. Even as queen, her past continues to write her present. Every whisper of a rumor, every recycled scandal, every speculative headline adds another layer to her story. And maybe that's the price of being a royal in the modern age. The crown gives power, but it also gives the public the power to rewrite your life as legend. What do you think? Are the stories of hidden treasures just entertaining fabrications? Or do they point to something deeper about how we see Camilla? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Up next, 5 defining clashes between Camilla and Princess Anne. Myth versus record.